Let's dive into it. Okay, this is an article that is on Reddit. Well, not an article, but a post on Reddit. And this post is from right after this happened in 2022. Okay? The reason that I want to share this post, just like I want to share a lot of the other posts that I find, is because there are so many parallels that people would not have known that we're just now finding out about, right? Like, we're just now finding out these details. None of it was released. None of this evidence was out. These photos weren't out. So I want to take the time to read through this. The first part kind of cut off, but I have it on my iPad, so I'm going to read it because there's something even bigger at the end of this that seems to kind of just tie all this together. According to Stacy Chapin, during her and Jim's November 17th extended interview, BF told Ethan's triplets that she heard through the night. What she heard through the night, she told the triplets she heard loud male voices, Ethan yelling, and other male voices she believed were guys in the fraternity. So she heard more than one perpetrator and Ethan yelling loud, yet DM didn't. BF also heard furniture getting knocked around, rummaging through the second floor, Murphy barking, and then a loud thud. Multiple past tenants who had rooms on the first floor said it was very hard to hear anything above, which makes sense when you look at where the add-on was. For BF to have heard Ethan and other guys yelling loudly, it would have been impossible for DM on the same floor as those guys to not hear it. BF genuinely thought what she was hearing was a continuation of the frat party fight that she had also witnessed. She observed the very heated and aggressive fight that E and X had with a certain David of the Davids. In fact, the frat fight, it was getting so bad that X pulled E away and got him out of there. This is the same David is seen in the big white truck slowly passing KM and JS in the CCTV clip of them walking from the corner club to the grub truck. Is it true that Adam and JD were picked up at the club as soon as the girls left and they were picked up by the Davids? Does the CC not have the security video? Does the corner club not have the security videos that we can see who leaves and what time? The outside surveillance watching the vehicles, was JS staying near the girls so he could give updates of when they left to the Davids, JD, and Adam? Coincidentally, while the girls are waiting for their food at the truck, Adam appears to also get food. When the girls aren't looking, he signals to JS the sleeping sign about the girls. I suppose he could have just meant the girls were sleepy, but he could have also meant that they would wait and for the girls to go to sleep. When Adam leaves, you hear the truck rev its motor and you can see the same big white truck in the reflection of the window. How is it not suspect that David's truck slowly passes by while the three were walking in an area where no one else was? If you watch the video, you'll see him pass them, get into a parking spot only to turn his truck back around, obviously to pass them and see where they are. Why hasn't MPD ever discussed that? That truck was clearly watching the girls hours before they were unalived. Did they look into who owned that truck? Did MPD confiscate the Davids, Adam, JD, and JS's phones? Were those guys in contact during that night? Did Adam call the Davids to tell them what Maddie had told him? Everything? Why has MPD never discussed that entire situation? We know Maddie told Adam information that was serious because Kay was concerned and JS's response was, "They're gonna get you, Maddie." Is it just a coincidence that JS says that and a few hours later someone does get Maddie? Is it just a coincidence that E and X had a big fight with David hours before? Then that David picks Adam and allegedly JD up at the club right after the girls left and right after M told Adam serious info that would cause multiple people to get her. JS didn't say he's gonna get you. He said they, meaning several. Is it also just a coincidence that the same David that fought with X and E hours before their unalivings also had a verbal altercation with M at the Friday night house party? Is it just a coincidence that 3 of the 4 unalived just happened to be on bad terms with the Davids? Is it true that the Davids were hazing Hudson L. the night he drowned? Did he really drown because he fell into Paradise Pond on campus even though he was a multi-champion swimmer? Is the rumor true that he was actually waterboarded by the Davids and Adam when he accidentally died? Is it true that one of the Davids repeated this info to multiple students because he felt guilty? Why did one of the Davids write on his social media the week of the unalivings, "What a weekend. I probably should feel sorry, but I don't"? What was he talking about? Why did he delete that post after he retained an attorney? Where are JS, David L, David B, and Adam now? Why did all four retain attorneys ASAP as if they weren't even suspects? If they weren't even suspects. How did BK manage to not only unalive 4 people in under 20 minutes, but mutilate Ethan and Kay? Possibly the others, but definitely K and E. How did BK manage to toss blood up and down the walls of the hall and stairs, yet walk out without blood all over him and left none of this in his car or home? Why was the second floor furniture knocked around and all over the place? Why did BK hear fighting above her in multiple male voices if BK quietly snuck in, unalived everyone, and no one was heard, besides the "I'm here to help you" and Xana crying? Why do DM's version and BF's completely contradict each other? Why did MPD choose to use DM's version and not BF's? If DM opened her door and yelled to the unalivers to be quiet, why was she spared? If she yelled from her room, they would have known she was in there, yet they quietly passed her even though they knew she heard them and possibly saw them. Why did DM have multiple photos of herself holding K-bar knives? Why did multiple Sigma Chi boys have photos holding K-bars, swords, and a machete? Why did U of I shut down Sigma Chi's page on their school website after the unalivings but didn't shut down any other frat pages? Why were 9 police and undercover officer vehicles outside Sigma Chi's dorm building the week after the unalivings? Why did Ellie do room searches of Sigma Chi members? Did Ellie confiscate the K-bars, swords, and machete that multiple Sigma Chi boys owned? Why did U of I hold a special mandatory meeting for Sigma Chi and have multiple pastors speak and tell the boys they need to call on God for forgiveness and salvation? Doesn't the school think all students need God? Why do only Sigma boys need God's forgiveness? And forgiveness for what? I don't know what else to post here other than copy and pasted. There you go. So you have to take in consideration that this post was written right after the crimes happened, over 2 years ago. Someone immediately was writing posts like this, and this is a lot of information that we did not know. We didn't know any of this until recently when these records and documents started being released. We didn't know this story. We didn't know about Dylan's story and all of this details that are in here. So these people that are writing online after these crimes happened, and it's just being completely overlooked when there's massive, massive details in these posts that people should not have known right now. They should not have known all of these things that were going on because we didn't have any of that information. And then someone commented back to that post about Hudson. So let's read this. When Hudson was found, the so-called creek had about 2 inches of frozen water. He did not drown in that creek. It was rumored he was waterboarded and forced to drink in a hazing incident. He was friends of EC. Fry was the first officer on the scene and said it was a suicide immediately. I've searched for tox reports and have found nothing, even though Fry said they were requested. The white truck at the food truck is something I questioned from the beginning. There was also a picture floating around once that showed MM or KG's coat, whoever wore the black jacket, I don't recall now, but it was hanging on something nearby the street by the house. The day that BK was arrested, the information officer for Moscow PD announced that morning they were going back to the frat house. Were they ever there? They somehow had BK in their sights pretty quickly. So did they not even search the frat house? Fry and many other officers were Sig Chi alumni, as is Thompson. So I've read in several places. How powerful is the Greek system? We know the university officials run the town. How far would they go to protect these kids? I'm sorry, but all of this is extremely, extremely alarming.